If you have been stopped by the police, then according to Section 6 of the Road Traffic Act 1988, there are 4 situations the police officer can carry out roadside preliminary tests for alcohol and drugs. Situation 1. If the police officer reasonably suspects that the person is driving, is attempting to drive, or is in charge of a motor vehicle on a road or other public place and has alcohol or a drug in his body or is under the influence of a drug. Therefore, just sitting behind the wheel of a stationary car in a restaurant car park equates to being in charge of a motor vehicle. Situation 2. If the police officer reasonably suspects that the person has been driving, attempting to drive, or in charge of a motor vehicle on a road or other public place while having alcohol or a drug in his body or while unfit to drive because of a drug and still has alcohol or a drug in his body, or is still under the influence of a drug. The police officer doesn't need to witness you driving to possess suspicion. A complaint can be made to the officer from a member of the public, neighbour or family member that you have been drink or drug driving. Situation 3. If the police officer reasonably suspects that the person is or has been driving, attempting to drive, or in charge of a motor vehicle on a road or other public place and has committed a traffic offence whilst the vehicle was in motion. A road traffic offence is anything from speeding to driving through traffic lights. Situation 4. If an accident occurs owing to the presence of a motor vehicle on a road or other public place and a constable reasonably believes that the person was driving, attempting to drive, or in charge of the vehicle at the time of the accident. And an accident is anything from being a minor bump to a serious accident involving death. A police officer in uniform can only perform the preliminary test in situations 1, 2 and 3. So if you've been pulled over by a non-uniform officer, they will have to call a uniform officer to carry out the preliminary tests. A police officer gains reasonable suspicion for one or more of the following: when you have been pulled over and you admit to drink or drug driving, or the police officer smells alcohol on or near you, or your face is flushed or you have bloodshot or glazed eyes, or your speech is slurred and reactions are uncoordinated or slow, or the manner in which your driving was erratic or unusually slow and cautious, or the police have been given information regarding you that you have been driving whilst intoxicated or high on drugs. Once an officer has reasonable suspicion of a drink or drug related driving offence under Section 6, they can carry out 1 or 3 types of roadside preliminary tests. 1. The roadside breathalyzer. This is a very common preliminary test. It involves you blowing into a breathalyzer machine. The results are almost immediate. 2. Preliminary impairment test. The preliminary impairment test is designed to catch people driving under influence of both alcohol and drugs. You'll be asked to carry out a series of simple tests to allow the police officer to decide if you are under the influence of alcohol or drugs. The tests may include walking in a straight line, or balancing on one leg, or reciting the alphabet, or all of the above. 3. Preliminary drug test. The preliminary drug test is like the roadside breathalyzer in that it uses a machine that analyses a sample from you of either sweat or saliva and detects various drugs that might be in your system. These are not very widely used. If you pass the roadside tests, you will be allowed to leave, assuming there are no other issues. If, however, you fail a roadside preliminary test or fail to cooperate with a preliminary roadside test, you'll be arrested and taken to the nearest police station, where you'll be required to provide another sample of breath on an evidential breath testing machine. The results of an evidential breath test will determine if you are charged or not for one of the many drink-drug driving offences. These may include drink drive offence, drug drive offence, or failing to provide a specimen of breath. Please check out our Drive Safe series to find out more information on these offences and many more. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to Community Legal Education so you can be the first to watch these short legal video explainers on police powers and many more other videos. Please check out our website www.clevideos.co.uk for more legal information. Remember to speak to a solicitor if you need specialist legal advice, and may the justice be with you.